What does it take to be part of a high-performing team? Well, different characteristics possessed by the different people form the leadership process, which is initially important within the high-performance team, that there is a clear leader within the team. However, no clear definition of leadership exists because everyone has their own interpretation of leadership. Therefore, everyone uses different styles of leadership. When defining leadership theories, situational leadership theory adapts to each situation, applying the right leadership skills to situations, but these can be debated or changed depending on the situation at hand. Behavioral leadership theory. Unlike situational leadership, behavioral is focused on individuals' abilities to learn necessary leadership skills in order to become a good leader. When applied to the context of leadership activity, it became evident that the red team, which I was a part of, was clearly situated in S3 section of the graph. This is because there was clearly strong supporting element at present, therefore team displayed very low behavioral leadership and directive, which leads to this next graph of 5 dysfunctions of the team. And because this graph displays 5 levels which indicate different levels of team work and dysfunctions of the team, we can reflect to the teamwork activity. And my reflection to that would be that the red team was highly dysfunctional team. Leadership goes always hand in hand with power. This is clear from the French research from 1959 about different styles of leaders and their relation to their followers, such as referent leadership refers relationship between the leader and their supervisor. This could be, for example, students' relationship to their thesis supervisors. Example of expert leaders would be tour guides who know the area they are trying to give the tour of for the tourists by having a high degree of knowledge. Legitimate leadership power comes from the state, such as appointment to the job of military officer, police officer, or judge, and so on. Reward power is coming from within the organization, for example, from the managers, such as department heads, who could reward their workers for the job well done, depending on their work efficiency. And finally, we have coercive power, which also could become from the organization themselves. In this case, we could use idea of operations manager, who is intimidating the workforce with punishments, payment deductions and such if the work isn't good quality enough, or if it doesn't just match up the expectations of the operations manager. There are different types of leadership. According to Burns 2012, these leadership styles are transactional, transformational, and pseudo-transformational. Transactional mainly focuses on the events between the leader and their followers. Transformational focuses on people orientation, such as creation of connections that empower and motivate the leaders and their followers. And finally, there is pseudo-transformational, which focuses on leaders' own agenda instead of their subordinates and the overall goal of the team. Therefore, we can argue that within the red team, there was clear structure of leadership, which in this case was transformational leadership. This is because the individuals tended to focus on their relationship to help each other instead of having one clear figure who would lead the team and then focus on the overall picture, which was complete the activity successfully. While we are still talking about types of leadership, we will come now to the topic of autocratic and democratic leaders, an example of such a leadership. Smith 2011 discusses ideas of Kurt Lewin, who criticized authoritarian and democratic leadership styles. And here are some examples of such leaders. Authoritarian leaders, well, most famous would be probably Adolf Hitler, Heidi Choyo, Chiang Kai-shek, and Emperor Palpatine. Democratic leaders would be Barack Obama, Emmanuel Macron, Angela Merkel, and Jacinda Ardern. Workshop displayed highly different styles of leadership within many groups, and within many groups we could see that there was a clear figure who rose to the challenge of being a leader by taking clear initiative. This can be also seen in fictional context when we look at the Galactic Empire military leadership and how incompetent they were when they were trying to counter the threat of Rebel Alliance by using inadequate, antiquated tactics for enemy which was highly adaptive and used stateless strategy against the enemy force who clearly had to defend large areas of space. And finally, when concluding the experience from this workshop activity and reflecting the leadership theories, then overall the leadership within the red team was present here and there. However, none of the characteristics of high performance team were highlighted because none of these characteristics were not clearly present. They were present individually, but not within the context that you would combine all of them and make the high performance team. Therefore, my conclusion is that I was not a part of high performance team due to various issues such as poor communication, not clear roles, leader was not clearly appointed or not present at all, solid relationships were present only between certain members, not the entire group, and the common purpose, everyone most of the time was thinking, just we have to pass this activity so we can go home, but this kind of thinking process do not necessarily work when you have to think the common purpose of the activity, which in this case was try to make high performance team. And finally, here are the references.